How about dating within the CIA?
Well, we talked about the farm real briefly, and most people come in single, and it is also the world's most expensive dating game, right? It's like a lot of people get married there. But what most people are interested in on this, the sex in the CIA, is we have some peculiar and very strict rules about dating foreigners, not Americans. And we have these rules for counterintelligence reasons, right? It has nothing to do, we're not the moralities police, we don't give a shit. But we want to make sure that if you're dating someone, that they are not controlled by the Russians, that they haven't been sent against you, that, that there's issues. And so we have issues like, I think I can say, um, cohabitation. You can't live with a foreigner if you're an agency officer. So and then you get weird things like, well, what's cohabitation? Is it 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week, 2 nights a week, half a night? So we have like, oh God. So, if you're a chief of station, you got to be like, well, I was there for 2 nights. And then I was there for but I left at 2 in the morning, but we only talked. I'm like, I don't care, It's like, no, you're not cohabitating. You can't give them a key to your apartment. Um, and, so there are these rules like this. And then when you finally decide that he or she is the one, um, you have to write into headquarters and say, I'd like permission to marry this foreigner. And what they tell you to do is, the way it works is you have to write a letter of resignation, which I did. And they say that if this doesn't go well, we may accept that letter of resignation. And so when you ask so they say, okay, you can tell your intended who you work for, your fiance, and then you have to tell them, A, they have to become an American citizen, and B, they have to take a polygraph.
Hmm.
And the polygraph, to be clear, is, are you a spy? Are you controlled? Are you,
Yeah.
and this is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But not everybody gets through, and they don't get through for the reasons you might think. So say, I know, so if you fall in love, say, with someone from from Iran, Iranian American, not, or Iranian German, and yeah, they're good, but their cousins can be blackmailed, right? The Iranians, so that suddenly, let's say an American, and even in Americans that, although we don't polygraph Americans, that we'll probably sit down and have a discussion. It's like, if there's an Iranian American, it's like, if your cousin writes you and says they're going to go to prison unless you do X, Y, or Z with your new husband or new wife, what are you going to do? And that becomes a lot of people are like, you know what, maybe this is not a job for us.
Mm.
And then the last thing on that too is, when I came into the agency back in '84, you couldn't be gay. It was decided that if you're gay, it is blackmailable. And so we went through a number. So we only hired straight folks, we thought. And what was turning out was we were hiring a lot of people who were in the closet. Some people, because polygraph is, it's voodoo, right? It works sort of, but doesn't really.
Mm-hmm.
It measures your reactions, and they can, they can do card tricks, but it can't really, are you gay if you've never been involved in gay sex, but you're not sure if you are or whatever. So we had people who were like, a Mormon dad with 6 kids suddenly decides he's gay, right? And oh, now all this fucked up in this. So I think they've come around to a really much better thing is if you're doing something that's blackmailable, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So if you're gay and out of the closet, who the fuck gives a shit, right?
All right.
And so we have Gay Lesbian Alliance in the agency, and we have gay officers that still have issues, but the issues tend to be, if you're single gay officer and you're going to go to Saudi Arabia or Zimbabwe, for example, where I do know I've served there, and it's 12 years for a first offense for sodomy, right? In fact, you don't even have to. They have where the deviancy. If they decide you're deviant, whatever that means, that's what they decide. So if you go there and you start to date a local, do you really want to place that person in that danger, right? You're okay, you're a diplomat, but whoever so we, that creates certain issues for the agency that we need to work through. But and other places won't give if you're a married couple and if there's two lesbians and they want to go live in Iraq together at the embassy, it's like, you may not get a visa for that. Right?
Yeah.
You know, like fuck you, we don't do that. So there still are problems, less so inside the agency, more with how the agency deals with sex outside.
Yeah.
And so we're not the morals police. You know, that's not our job.
Right.
It really boils down to whether there's a counterintelligence issue and whether you can be blackmailed.